Now, it's important to keep the proper distinctions between different question types. Strengthen versus sufficient assumption are very different things. Strengthening questions are opening the door to new information, just like sufficient assumption questions. But an important distinction is strengthen has to simply help the argument, whereas sufficient assumption will guarantee the argument 100%, leaving no ambiguity at all. That's a difference of degree, but also in practice, there's a difference in terms of approach. We've gone over in the past the sufficient assumption formulas, and they involve formal logic. As we saw, you can often diagram them. While you don't necessarily need to diagram them all the time, it can be useful to do so and at least be able to do so. Strengthening questions, though, are informal logic, which in a way is why I like them a lot, because there's that real world engagement, like you were having a conversation with somebody where you're thinking about what are those alternative possibilities, alternative explanations, and knocking them down in favor of the stated one. And again, simply has to help the argument a little bit, doesn't have to do it all the way. Sufficient assumptions, you need to do it all the way, if not more than all the way. Sufficient assumption, doing it more than all the way is totally fine. And you're much more likely to see that in sufficient assumption than you are in strengthen. So even if it helps it a little bit, that's enough. On the flip side, for weakened questions, you don't have to destroy the argument. You simply have to harm or hurt the argument even just a bit. That would be enough. And for strengthening questions, you won't typically see the term assumes or assumed. It's sufficient assumption questions, you will. So it's probably not that difficult to tell the difference between them, but it's also important to think about how the actual approaches differ. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.